All right, so Francis Ngannou, the Predator, one of the hardest hitting fighters in all of combat sports, will be returning after quite the hiatus back to mixed martial arts. He will be fighting in the PFL, the Professional Fighters League, and he will be taking on the winner between Renan Ferreira, a man standing at 6'8" tall, and Ryan Bader, a man that used to fight at light heavyweight, but is now a heavyweight champ over at Bellator. These guys are throwing down in the PFL February 24th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Of course, that is the destination. Those guys are spending some proper money. So, Ngannou is going to take on the winner of those two. I would say, I don't know too much about Renan Ferreira. I would say that Ngannou is going to be fighting Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader is doing big things right now. Last time we saw Bader, he knocked out the legend Fedor Emelianenko, out-wrestled Czech Congo, took out Valentin Moldavsky. But he did get finished by Corey Anderson, okay? Ryan Bader, of course, isn't just known for the wrestling. He's got heavy hands. But they ain't shit compared to Francis Ngannou's one knockout punch ability, okay?
His punch is the equivalent to 96 horsepower, which is equal to getting hit by a Ford Escort going as fast as it can.
So, whoever, right? It might be Ferreira, whoever he is.
Who the is that guy?
I'm not familiar with the guy. By all accounts, he's a very good fighter. Looking at his record, 12 wins, 3 losses on a 3-fight win streak. I'll be honest, I'd never heard of the guy, but I don't follow the PFL in fairness, okay? Ryan Bader, Renan Ferreira, whoever wins, they get the dubious honor of taking on Francis Ngannou. As we know, Francis Ngannou is stepping back in the boxing ring, back in the squared circle. That's going down soon. March 9th, Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia, taking on Anthony Joshua. Now, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou is just around the corner, and the hype is going to start to build, and we're going to start hearing about these a lot more very quickly. But Johnny Nelson, the English boxer who was the cruiserweight champion of the world for 6 years in a row, and now a commentator and a notable figure still in the world of boxing, he was talking about this fight recently, and he said, listen, what damage is it going to do to Anthony Joshua if Francis Ngannou wins? What's it going to do to his head? What's it going to do to his confidence? And what's it going to do to his stock? Listen, the reality is, right, there's a real chance that Francis Ngannou causes a massive upset here. Listen, Joshua has found his groove again, okay? He's on a 3-fight win streak, and he's looked fantastic, okay? Otto Wallin, Robert Helenius, Jermaine Franklin, okay? Got over those 2 losses to Alexander Usyk, who, of course, is fighting Tyson Fury soon, okay? Can't wait for that one. Before that, 2 wins, Kubrat Pulev, Andy Ruiz Jr. Before that was knocked out. The reason I bring all them up is because he's lost 3 out of his last 8, okay? And someone at Joshua's level, right, that's quite a lot of losses, but he's on a 3-fight win streak. Remember, the man's still only 34 years old, but he's going up against Francis Ngannou, right? And as Johnny Nelson said, what is that going to do to his head? Here is the actual quote. Johnny said, listen, if I was Eddie Hearn, if I was Anthony Joshua's promoter, I wouldn't have taken the fight because the risk versus reward doesn't add up. And he's absolutely right. He said, if you lose to him, where are you going to go from here? What's he going to do to AJ's head? Thinking, I just lost to this guy. What is going on here? I'll tell you what it's going to do to his head. He's probably going to put his fist right through it. But he went on to say, listen, Joshua might be getting paid handsomely for this. All these things might work out well. But as a businessman, I just wouldn't have done it. Eddie's defending his position on this fight, which he poo-pooed originally when Fury took it. Poo-pooed. If I was Anthony Joshua and had achieved everything that he's achieved, to lose to Ngannou, I'm going to think, how could I possibly lose to this guy? It's only his 2nd professional fight. So that's why I expect AJ to go out there and get the job done. I'm not forgetting everything that Anthony Joshua has achieved, because what he has achieved is amazing, right? And this is really the crux of the matter. This is the conversation here, because I tell you what, right? Francis Ngannou is going to be a better version and a more terrifying and effective boxer against Anthony Joshua than what he was against Tyson Fury. And why does the one-eyed idiot say that? Well, think about this, and I've said this before. All the unknowns are answered for Francis Ngannou. Remember, fighting Tyson Fury, can he compete? Can he take a shot? Can he land a shot to hurt these boxers? And does he have the conditioning, right? A man the size of Francis Ngannou, the amount of muscle that he carries, generally can't go 10 or 12 rounds. He went 10 rounds. He took Tyson Fury's shot. He dropped Tyson Fury in the first round. So all the answers to those questions are an emphatic yes. He can go the distance. He can take the shot. He can hurt these boxers. They are only human, and so is he. And my God, Francis Ngannou has a very inspirational story. And what he's doing right now, mixing up the boxing world, is just phenomenal, right? Anthony Joshua has taken a massive risk here. Johnny Nelson is absolutely correct because his stock, Joshua's, will fall massively. Of course, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua fully expect Joshua to go out there, outclass him, get a finish later in the fight. No way. The Francis Ngannou that we saw against Tyson Fury was phenomenal, right? And mentally, he's going to be even better. As I said, the questions have been answered. And you might think that I'm putting too much stock into those thoughts. I'm not. Trust me. This is the most powerful weapon that all fighters have, okay? It's this that makes you perform in the ring. And Francis Ngannou was shown that he's calculated. He's shown that he's a thinking fighter, okay? He's not just some big brute, even though he looks like one. He hits hard, but he's got a gas tank these days as well. Whatever he's doing with Mike Tyson, that work is paying off. And what is he going to do to Anthony Joshua's head? As I said before, if he connects flush to the mush, Anthony Joshua could hit the deck and he could get knocked out unconscious. If Andy Ruiz Jr. was able to connect and knock out Anthony Joshua, then why can't Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou has got a better chance. Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury in the third round and then bullied him around the ring in some of these rounds. Let's remember that. So I'm very excited for this matchup. I cannot wait for it. And who knows, maybe Joshua goes out there and absolutely smokes him. Win or lose, right? Francis Ngannou, all this talk of fumbling the bag. He didn't fumble no bag, right? He's doing well. The bag's massive. The bag is bursting at the goddamn seams. And whoever's holding it is getting a good little workout routine, let me tell you that. Because the reality is, if Anthony Joshua loses to Francis Ngannou, this is a big, big problem for his career. Will he fight again? Probably. Will he ever be in the conversation? Probably not. Will he fight for a belt? Will he go down in history as one of the best boxers of his generation? Absolutely not. With the 2 losses to Usyk, with a loss to Andy Ruiz Jr. via knockout, and then losing to Francis Ngannou, a man that is only having his second ever professional boxing fight. Let me tell you, the pressure is going to be on Anthony Joshua, and pressure can do funny things to a man. Okay, Joshua's very experienced. Of course he is. The man's had 30 fights. Okay, so he's used to the pressure, the nerves, the big fight feel. But when the nerves are there, that it's this big man who's got knockout power that just almost beat Tyson Fury, that then is only having his second ever professional boxing fight. And if you lose to him, your career is in the toilet. Let me tell you, that kind of pressure can make champions like Anthony Joshua crumble, or it can make a diamond. And if somehow Francis Ngannou pulls it off, what's next? Well, I'll tell you what, Joshua's career is in the toilet, as I said, and he will fight. Francis Ngannou will take on the winner of Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Whoever wins that is going to be ridiculous, okay? Either a rematch with Tyson Fury, okay, a motivated Tyson, or he takes on, right, who will be the undisputed, the most inspiring, most technical heavyweight boxer that we have certainly seen in quite some time in Alexander Usyk. If Francis can pull this off, my God, he has a potential to go down as the best heavyweight boxer of his generation in 3 fights. Me, that's ridiculous. But it's nice to see that he is coming back to mixed martial arts, because that is where he started off. That is where he plowed his trade. And could you imagine if Ngannou was able to go out there in Riyadh, beat Anthony Joshua, right? Then become the PFL champion, which you've got to think he's got a good chance of doing. If Ryan Bader does win against Ferreira at the PFL, and then he wins the opportunity to fight Francis Ngannou, right? Bader would have to wrestle his head off. He would have to shoot from the other side of the octagon. He would have to do his absolute best. And let's remember, Stipe Miocic, a bigger version of Ryan Bader, right, in the second fight, wasn't able to take him down. The takedown defense was on point. Ngannou managed to keep the fight on his feet and then knocked out Stipe cold, right? Ngannou has got only better. Granted, been a bit distracted lately with all the boxing stuff, so who knows, he might be a little bit rough, a little bit rusty. But I tell you what, the power is the last thing to go, and it will still be there. All this video is a hype job for Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, and me buzzing off the news that he's coming back to mixed martial arts. Granted, Ryan Bader, tremendous guy. Renan Ferreira, never heard of him. Big dude, 6'8", comes from Brazil, no doubt slick at jiu-jitsu. Right, let's have a look at his record real quick. As I said, no disrespect. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, and I respect all fighters. 12-3, 10 knockouts, 1 submission. Okay, maybe he's not a jiu-jitsu specialist. There you go. Told you. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't even watch this video for crying out loud. 3-fight win streak. Beat Maurice Green, round 1. Mateus Scheffel, round 1. And then Dennis Goldstoff beat him. Dennis Goldstoff beat him in round 2. Big names there. The PFL roster, man, it's nothing but superstars. Who else has he beaten? Jamel Jones, Stuart Austin, Paul Sumantafa. All right, okay. I'm joking. I just haven't heard of these guys. This is the organization that's going to take down the UFC. Remember that. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you're all well. Subscribe and ring the bell. UFC Mexico going down this week. And by the way, shortly, in an hour or two on this channel, I'll be having an exclusive interview with Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, who went toe-to-toe and went out there and choked out Roman Kopylov in the opening fight on the pay-per-view at UFC 298 this past weekend. So, in a couple of hours or even later in the day, if you've got nothing to do, watch the interview. Fluffy Hernandez, tremendous guy. But what do you think? Ngannou versus Joshua, right? Who takes that? And Bader versus Ferreira, who wins that? And will Ngannou take them all? Will he take the bag? Will he take the belts? Will he go down in history as the greatest fighter that the world has ever seen? Anyway, talking out my ass now. I'll let you go. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.